this is Badar Boy, and we're back playing Hearts of Iron 4. And as you can see, I'm playing Kaiserreich. And if you're not familiar with Kaiserreich, it's basically Germany won World War I, Britain and France became communist, they kicked monarchy and the republic out into their dominions and colonies. The Ottomans are still here. Egypt is independent and strong, and China is still a mess as always. But the reason I'm playing Kaiserreich today isn't because of Egypt, like some of you wanted. And I actually did make a poll asking if I should play either the Sultanate of Egypt or something in China. And that something in China won 3-1, I believe. So it does look hectic, and I'm gonna explain why I chose China, because China just got an update. Alright, it didn't just got an update, it got it like a month ago, but just now I managed to be able to play. I've had a lot of exams, tests and whatnot for the past 3 months, so I haven't been able to upload properly, and I found myself in this inter-exams tests period where I can like breathe a little bit. I just literally finished my exams yesterday. My midterms were done yesterday, so now I can play. And like I wanted to play as something very special in China. Before we go on, let me just explain a little bit. So basically, what you're seeing is the same old Qing Empire under not the same old. It's kinda weakened, but all of this over here is autonomous regions ruled by the Qing in Beijing. And of course there's the Fengtian government, basically the friends of Japan, Manchukuo in this time. They are friends of Japan but not their puppet. So there's that. I wanted to play as the Left KMT. Is it KMT? The Left KMT, because I find them pretty much interesting. But where's the Left KMT? You're wondering, where it's not on the map yet. So the first step into playing as the Left KMT is to play as the League of 8 provinces. With our nice leader, Sun Xuanfang. We have conspicuous kleptocracy. Yeah, I'm not gonna read that because I'm not interested in this country right now. We have the Nanking Commission and collaboration with the Germans. We pretend on autocrats, and we fall under the leadership of our dear old HOI, His Imperial Majesty. So I'm not gonna do any focuses really, and I'm not gonna really strengthen the League of 8 provinces, because in the end they'll just, well, you'll see what will happen to them. So first of all, let's make it into an organized army and just sit somewhere over here. Yeah, why not? Let's just send them over here. That'll be important later on, but here we go. Imperial Cornerstone. This is a briefing about the League of 8 provinces. You can read if you want. I'm not gonna read it, but I already read it. So we're basically bowing to the central government of Beijing. We're very dependent on German handouts, and we have a lot of internal concerns such as religious fanatics and the commies, syndicalists in the mountains, the remnants of the Kuomintang and the failed northern expedition. So here we are. The League will endure any and all problems. I wonder, does researching... Oh no, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. So, let me just research later on. Sun Xuanfang meets the governors. I'm gonna read these events because these events are interesting to the plotline. League Marshal Sun Xuanfang met today with the governors of the 5 eastern provinces who, the public has been told, discussed matters of regular governance and administration. The price crop in Jiangxi, I believe, has been poorer than expected this year, said Governor Deng Ruzhou. It's important that taxes are adjusted appropriately to compensate. The absence of officials from Guangdong, Guangxi, and Hunan, as well as the presence of purely military figures like General Zhayu. Yeah, I'm not good with reading Chinese names in English, so bear with me here. Has led some to believe that the meeting actually could concern more serious matters of state security. Well, that's interesting. Just nice how they just removed the assassination of the Russian president. How barbaric. By the way, it's going to be a little bit slow because Kaiserreich is a little bit slow for me. It has lots of events and stuff. So there's that. Right. The Zhegan Railway. It marks the long-planned opening of the Zhegan Railway, the latest extension which finally connects Shanghai to Nanjing, a city deep in Jiangxi province. The opening is noteworthy for a few reasons. First among them, the prominent involvement of Chinese engineers in construction despite its significant funding by this German name, and this German name that continues this German name, also known as the AOG. Yeah, we refer to it as the AOG, which has turned work into something of a cause célèbre. Those less optimistic have been quick to point that the AOG's newfound access to rich mineral deposits, as well as Jingzhen porcelain, which has been able to fetch high prices in Berlin. Despite concern, a threatened attack upon the opening ceremony by Kuomintang agents did not take place. Let me try to read this. All right, where is it? Aufsichtsrat der Stasiatische General Verwaltung, I don't know. Railways bring prosperity. I love hearing this ocean. Like, oh yeah, there's this thing called West Indies Federation. An unexpected announcement. Let's pause the game and read. This morning, to the surprise of many, the AOG publicly announced its plans to purchase and consolidate a number of eastern railways on behalf of the Shantung Eisenbahngesellschaft. One of its component concerns among them is the new Zhegan Railway. The AOG already possesses controlling shares in a number of lines across eastern China, several of which it directly financed, but this dashes the hopes of those who believe the new railway might represent a more equal future for Germans and Chinese. While Chinese management will be permitted to remain, they will now answer to a German directory board, though scarcely admitted to the public. Few authorities in the League seem to have been forwarded of this development, and the police response to protests has been slower than normal. An unpleasant surprise. Unrest spreads. Let's go back to China, shall we? Let's just put this away. Alright. Unsurprisingly, the consolidation of the General China Railway under AOG management has met with widespread criticism. Intellectuals have condemned the move in domestic papers, followed by prominent Anglo-American publications out of Shanghai, and echoed by Syndicalist Party periodicals found on factory floors. More troubling, however, the news has spread rapidly by word to mouth and has grown all the more outrageous and fantastical in the process. Tales now describe extensive webs of conspiracy, disappearances of outspoken individuals, and the supposed transfer of millions of yuan into the League Marshal's own pockets. The public's reaction has been predictably furious, and protests have already spread from Jiangxi to the major coastal cities, including the foreign settlements. Do peasants have nothing better to do? Well, I mean, you're a peasant, China. Let's see, why aren't we playing any music? Let's play some... What's that? Oh yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah. Some music wouldn't be that bad. Kinda adds to the flavor. Attacks on foreigners, beginning with assaults on prominent German citizens, having grown to become virtually indiscriminate attacks on foreigners by emboldened patriotic citizens are spreading like wildfire. The German consulate in Nanjing has advised the Kaiser subjects to arm themselves, travel only when necessary. The consulates of most other nationalities may soon follow suit. The impact of these attacks on business and investments remain to be seen. Recent history suggests the Shanghai Stock Exchange will not remain unaffected. This is very troubling. I wonder... Maybe if we build a land fort over here, forget about it. Oh, and stop the... Let's see, oh, that's the HOI4 Classic. Nationalist Carter. Yeah. Talk of a boycotts and Beijing. Talk of a boycott on German goods has accompanied growing protests throughout eastern China, provoked by an assortment of Kuomintang agents, religious cultists, and national ideologues. More disturbingly, some local garrisons have stepped back and allowed the unrest to grow, unwilling to risk being labeled Hanjian traitors. In order to ward off intervention from Beijing, advisors from the Nanking Commission have suggested that League Marshal Sun publicly declare the situation is under control. Elements of several divisions based in Nanjing stand ready to be deployed in cities along the lower Yangtze, where the protests are largest, and provisional garrisons could be given the green light to take whatever action they deem necessary to quell dissidents. Let's use maximum force and see where it will go. Railway bombings. Hi. Explosions have rocked several stations and rail lines slated to become part of the Central China Railway, with one bomb shedding a train car in a crowded station at Hangzhou, leaving dozens killed and injured. The deaths and delays have brought transportation to a standstill in many areas and has slowed the deployment of additional forces to quell the growing unrest. Blame for the attacks has been leveled against various targets, from bandits to the KMT to Japanese agents. Some, especially conspiracy-minded individuals, have suggested German involvement, who they suggest are targeting their own possessions, set the stage for an intervention. Terrorism! I mean, I don't know, maybe it has been done before, somewhere. Oh, hey Edward, how are you? Reports from north and south. Morning reports have reached Nanjing from both Zhuhou and Kangzhou. In the Jiangfu insurgent zone, KMT guerrillas have staged series of increasingly bold raids, striking around the inland cities of Yongding and Longyan. Governor Zhu Yinren has long struggled, I can't read, to assert control over his mountainous province, with control often limited to the coast and the larger inland cities, and now his grasp grows all the more tenuous. Meanwhile, in Jiangsu, Governor Zhang Zhunwan reports increased agitation by Gandao adherents spreading over the border from Shandong. Religious fanatics has been a point of long-standing frustration for the governor. Their involvement may well be encouraging the rising of unrest. Temporary setbacks. Nothing important. This is Madras. Alright, I skipped an event. But I think it's probably about how the Qing are pissed off at us, so yeah, I wouldn't really think of just like building up events. No. Oh, this is an event I didn't want to pass on. The Wuhu incident. The afternoon protest in the city of Wuhu, hosted by striking workers from nearby German-owned factories, quickly escaped police control. The garrison itself, reinforced by a section of German-trained troops from Nanjing, attempted to restore order, but in the confused melee, someone started shooting. Within a matter of minutes, police, the garrison, and the reinforcing troops had begun firing on the crowd and each other. Over 200 are already confirmed dead, with 4 times as many likely wounded, and the resultant outrage has already sparked protests in surrounding areas. The situation is all made worse by the presence of a small foreign settlement within the city. Many are already claiming that lethal force was only used in order to protect these foreigners, and the killings will most likely feature an international newspaper by tomorrow morning. Could things get any worse? You seriously shouldn't ask, my friend. Once you ask, they do get worse, like 100 times worse, so not asking would be a little bit good. King refuses further cooperation. Citing the recent incident at Wuhu, Governor Chen Qiaowan has issued an ultimatum calling for the withdrawal of all non-provincial forces from Anhui, as well as the immediate handover of those officers responsible. Though Chen assures the League that his own soldiers will continue to quell the spreading unrest and disorder, he refuses further cooperation with League authorities and denounces the creation of the Central China Railway, which he blames for pushing patriotic citizens to the edge of despair. Under normal circumstances, his behavior would be unacceptable, but Chen's stance has already proven popular, and decisive action could serve to further divide the now fragile League. Now we can let us join Governor Chen and stay as him, or we must bide our time, and that's what we will do. Let me just check the audio. Turn the music a little bit down. You can hear my voice better. I know you people like my voice. I definitely do. By the way, there's this thing where the troops are colored depending on the nation, and I kinda forgot how to, well, where is it? Yeah, go save pose on not users. Yeah, I do not remember how to fix it, so yeah, I'm just gonna get used to it from now on. The 5th Anglo-Afghani War. Who cares about Afghanistan? Well, Afghanis and British apparently. Black Monday, sorry. Right, so the Black Monday is basically the Berlin stock crash. It's basically this timeline's Great Depression. Yeah. Black Monday reaches the east. Although it began a world away, Black Monday's fallout has already reached China. The Shanghai exchange plummeted before closing at numbers unseen since the financial tumult. Tumult? Is this tumult? I can't see it right. 1925, and local institutions are already doing what they can to mitigate the damage. Fortunately, the average citizen is unlikely to feel any immediate impact. The AOG, already staggering under an extensive retaliatory boycott, faces dire financial circumstances. Its clerks have already issued notice that it may be unable to pay the usual rents for its various concessions, and that the final payment promised for the Zigan Railway has been indefinitely postponed. Without this planned revenue, we will be forced to enact major budget cuts. How will we pay the troops? Not the troops. Electoral gridlock in France. What's the Governor Zhang now announced that China's Attorney General is dead. What's coming out of Jinan College? These are like flavor events. Let's see. Just Russia right now. They went with this guy. How about the Mad Baron? Right. The Austrian Empire withdraws from Italy. Poland declares the Republic. And the Mad Baron is still here. I just don't like what happened with the Mongolian tree, but I mean, this entire rework of China wouldn't have been possible if Mongolia was still the beast it was. The dissension on the ranks, word of suspended pay, has already spread as far as the League's junior officers, and the reaction has been predictably negative. For some, this will mean an end to lifestyles of vice and extravagance, at least for the time being. But for many a common soldier, it's the difference between life and starvation. The officers' grumbling is made all the worse by a small but vocal clique of officers sympathetic to Chen Xiaowen's cause, arguing that the League should never have become so dependent on German handouts. In the barracks and in the streets, soldiers are being riled up by Igandao adherents seeking converts and preaching against foreign wickedness, while the Kuomintang and other leftist groups hide in the shadows, disseminating propaganda and denouncing imperialist collaboration. Nothing has yet come of these activities, but what was once routine unrest is now threatening undermine the very foundation of the League. Rebellion will be punished, and we're losing troops. Well, the League is losing troops. By the way, I like these icons. Not these icons, these models. A heinous crime. San Xuanfang lies mortally wounded, shot from behind by an assassin disguised as a serving woman. His brave bodyguards were able to quickly overpower and imprison the woman, but rumors have already begun to spread and swirl. The incapacitation of the League's only widely recognized leader is an unprecedented disaster, and unless he recovers soon, a successor is unlikely to be chosen without considerable bloodshed, without effective leadership, and with political fragmentation. All but certainly, the ongoing crisis will surely spin out of control. The League's fate lies in the balance. Who could be responsible? Why is there no more music? Alright, why is there Sabaton music? I disabled it. Alright, that's just... Alright. Let's see now what happens. Spreading insubordination. Telegrams have been flooding in all morning, accompanied by the din of ringing telephones throughout the League Marshal's palace, together describing a rapidly deteriorating situation across much of the League, with no promise of pay. Soldiers in Zhao, Nanchang, Guangzhou, and several other cities are either refusing to act or outright joining, spreading violence and looting, while police and garrisons in Zhanghao and Wuxi have gone on strike. Riots there and elsewhere are gradually escaping all semblance of control, made all the worse by Sun Shuafang's incapacity. Troubling telegraph lines south of Fujian appear to have been cut, leaving us entirely in the dark as to the likely worsening situation in Guangzhou and Guangxi, while Nanjing itself is now practically in the throes of violent revolution. Marshal Sun must wake soon. You know what? I'm not gonna put any more music. For the rest of this video, you'll be just watching the events going through face to face until we reach our hitting point, our starting point as the KMT. Then I'm just gonna like put over non-copyrighted but good music in the background through my good editing. Yeah, my editing is amazing. You can't say anything about it. Well, you can actually. I'm just saying that I appreciate constructive criticism. Anyways, Marshal Wu Peifu has refused our request for aid. We are on our own now. Damn. Alright, just before we continue, I just want to showcase a little bit the tree. Shuai rules Nanjing, and yeah, this guy becomes the leader. Some things about pacifying the countryside. 5 provinces, 1 marshal. There's also the army. There's that. Riots reached the marshal's palace. The Nanjing police has been unable to contain one of many riots spreading across the capital, as officers defect or sit idle, and onlookers join the chaos, looting and burning homes, businesses, and now government offices. The hasty arrival of military units under the command of General Xiayan, already deployed nearby, seems enough to protect the marshal's palace, but the roar of flames and the burgeoning crowds are audible even within the chamber where Sun Shanfang lies, deep in a coma. Like rats fleeing from a sinking ship, officials have been observed scurrying away into back streets and alleyways, arms burdened by silver coins, papers, and perhaps government secrets. What are we to do? You know what? I'm not gonna like put the troops all that far away. I'm just gonna put them over here. Around Nanjing. Because, well, I don't know. Stuff, I suppose. Just like how the Qing have just militias as their troops. Aren't they like the empire? Waiting for the game to do something. Waiting is really annoying in HOI4, trust me. The illusion of Qing hegemony shatters. The facade of Chinese unity, having held together for nearly a decade, has begun to crumble. Rising unrest in the League of 8 provinces, the economic shock of Black Monday portending German entrenchment, and the inability of the national government to deliver a decisive response to either has made one thing clear: Beijing's monopoly on power is broken, and now the future is any man's game. This will not go well.
准备完毕，长官。
Oh, yeah. Bye, Ching. Oh, here we go. This is our cue. Uprisings in Fujian. Kuomintang rebels. Kuomintang rebels, already fomenting insurrection throughout the League, have begun a general uprising in Fujian province, emerging from the mountains to seize a number of villages in the province's interior. The Changfu insurgent zone was already known to be a danger, but with the chaos now gripping the League, there is every possibility that they will cut a path to the coast, opening the way for aid from their syndicalist allies. At present, Governor Zhao Yinren is known to have several divisions in and around Guangzhou, but this is unlikely to be enough to stem the tide. Syndicalist scum. We can declare war on the Kuomintang, or take control of the Kuomintang, but play as the Kuomintang. Yeah, like it's just not as cool as the rise of the people or to arms, comrades, something like that. Just an idea. So now I'm gonna click, and probably the video will end here. And here we are.